These are not hardball questions, they're softball, but the first one is, could you explain, Judge, what the current economic landscape is in Hidalgo County, and how do wages contribute to economic vitality?
Thank you. Well, first let me tell you that wages contribute a lot to our economy because our economy is made from production and demand for services, goods and services. So the more money people have, the more they consume. We're enjoying some good success in many areas in the county. Some areas are doing something better, but I think that we all should be very happy to be in the Rio Grande Valley, especially in Hidalgo County in today's time. We need to improve in the diversity of some of the jobs that we have, but I think I would give ourselves an A-.
So I would agree with the judge and just simply say that in Starr County, we've had a history of dealing with situations of not only having potentially low wages, but of also dealing with high unemployment and high poverty. And a lot has changed because of education. And a lot has changed because of collaborations and the ability to put people in rooms, not just to talk, but to actually take action. And so when we look at the landscape of where our economic outlook is now, absolutely, I think each of you deserve a round of applause because the work you're doing every day to bridge that gap is helping. And so we have been faced with trying to find a way not only to ensure that the programming that we initiate at South Texas College is tied and corresponds to professions that are readily available to create not only jobs, but jobs that have a meaningful wage. And so we've seen that disparity continue to close in that gap. And one of the things that I would probably say is that as we move forward, a lot of the work that we foresee now, just like you mentioned earlier, 10 years ago we were talking about how we were going to contend with robotics. Now we're contending with AI that has no limit. So we have to find a way to ensure that the jobs that we have are not only available in the present, but that we're going to be available for those jobs in the future.
And being from Starr County myself, it's amazing. Just 10 years ago when I graduated from high school, driving by, you can definitely notice a difference from then to now in 10 short years. But anyway, I congratulate you for everything you've done for Starr County, Judge, for Hidalgo County. The next question will be for our Economic Development Organization representatives. We're going to start with Mr. Patridge. Keith, what are some of the emerging industries or trends in the region that could provide opportunities for higher paying jobs in the region, and how can partnerships between higher ed and industries prepare for these future opportunities?
Thank you, Carlos. It's a pleasure to be here. We have a lot of opportunities right now. We also have some challenges. One of them, I'm glad to say, is really not the educational training as much as it used to be. We still have pockets, as the judge mentioned, in the county and in South Texas that we need to address those issues. But as we start looking at the type of companies and the type of jobs that we have coming down, we always will have retail, we always will have service jobs, but really, I think, elevate where we need to be as a community, where we want to see our area be as a community, we really have to start looking at those baseline jobs. Those are the manufacturing jobs that are high pay. They also bring with them a substantial tax base that we can, that can help contribute from a taxing standpoint. And in order to do that, we have to have the skill sets. And we have to be able to be one step ahead, because those are also the jobs, I will tell you, that every community in the United States and the world is also looking at. They all want the same thing. They all want AI. They all want the high-tech sector. They all want the advanced manufacturing. They all want pharmaceuticals. All of us are chasing the same things. Then you have to look at, well, what does it mean that we're chasing them? And you know, some of the things that we have to look at, I think, as a region that we need to address, and we can't do this individually. It's got to be together as a region. That's why I compliment the Valley Partnership and a lot of people in this room for really focusing on a regional approach to a lot of these things. For example, water. Most of these companies have a substantial, even if you're talking about a company that has 1,000 people, they still need a lot of water. Well, what are we doing about the water issue? We're sitting here with a water expert right in front of me, and he can tell you, give you statistics all over the place on where we are with water. How do we address that? That's something that's bigger than any individual city, any individual community. That's something that we need to address regionally. We also have the issue of electrical power. A lot of you don't think much about it. You go home, you turn the lights on, and everything's working most times. And so what we're looking at, though, is when you start bringing in these really advanced manufacturing companies, they are very large electrical users. We were dealing with a company that needed 200 megawatts of power. You know how many sites in Texas have that are already set up to handle 200 megawatts of power? Less than 5. So if we want those type of companies, now I will tell you the average wage for that company is $76,000 a year starting, with child care, full health care benefits, and that's what we're looking at. Those are the jobs that make a difference. So those are the ones we have to look at. We also have to, quite frankly, help the judge and a lot of you in this room figure out, how do we leave those that have been left behind? How do we deal with those that have those problems that are unique to their circumstance that keep them from getting into the job market? Maybe it's cars, maybe it's kids, maybe it's a lot of things that they have. That's harder. And the judge, thank goodness, has decided he's going to take that on by reducing poverty. And we need to do everything we can to support him for that. So,
Thank you for that information, Keith, and thanks for offering those benefits. Keith and his team has been really aggressive in getting some of these employers to incubate at South Texas colleges, to start their operations there while they set up. So we have some opportunities there, because that gives our students an opportunity to actually work, do some OGT with some emerging technology, some companies that are new to the area. A lot of these have been AI and others, so thanks for that opportunity, Keith, because it works really well for our students. Mr. Valdez, the same question. What are some emerging industries or trends in the region that you can share, and how can partnerships help?
Well, I'll touch a little bit on partnership, and it's tough always to sit next to Mr. Patrick's wealth of knowledge, so thanks for, you maybe left me emotional. but I'll touch on partnerships in the region. Just this week, we were fortunate to be reached out by the city of Mercedes for a company that they could not outfit, and so we're meeting with them next week and setting up a relationship. And so to be able to partner with local EDCs and neighboring EDCs to say, and we really can't service this company. We don't have the specific needs that they might be asking for. And so to rather than it being a cold call or a fishing trip to try to recruit these companies, it would be nice if we all started that process of sharing each other and situations where we can't accommodate a particular company. It started with McAllen, who sent us one lead. And if we can continue to do that with and for each other, I think Weslaco alone in the Mid Valley, we cannot stand alone. We cannot present our story and our message without the regional message. And so we're really excited to see that process started.
Thank you, and thanks for your investment in partnership with South Texas College. You'll have invested funds for actual workforce training. We're in our 4th year, I believe, and we're really targeting your first industrial, but now we're actually working with your retail partners. I think that's been quite successful, so thanks for that investment. That investment does come back at least by 3 back into your community and your economy, so thanks for that trust.
Especially right after COVID, we like Carlos was saying, we started with our industrial parks in those industries, and when we saw the need for a smaller business and being able to take Excel classes, social media classes, all the things that our smaller businesses were able to do, we were able to set up through your program as well, so we're really appreciative of that as well.
Thank you. Mr. Pettis, emerging industries and partnerships.
Well, of course, I think we're known for, and again, thank you, Dr. Solis, Dr. Margo, for the invite and for us, with our colleagues up here to participate and kind of share what we're doing in our respective communities. But one of the things that we believe in, and our mayor, is partnerships. And we have a lot of partnerships with university colleges and our partnership along with our colleagues up here. As Steve mentioned, we also sent a company that was looking to come in far, and we couldn't handle the land that they wanted was not available at that time. So we sent them over to Westaco, and they're there already, and that's great. And this is the kind of relationship that we need to establish among ourselves. We talk about one region. Well, this is what we're doing with the partnership as well. And so I think it's, you do more, you're more effective, you're more productive when people find out that we're working together as a region. So we've taken some trips out to Monterrey, to Mexico City, along with you to Julie. I see Veronica Gonzalez here. She went with us over there. But when we go out there, it's not just promoting the city of Clark, but we're promoting the whole region. And so again, it's good to hear that all of us here up here said some key points about what's coming up, the companies that we're attracting, and times have changed. It's no longer we talk to companies and say, well, really, it's just innovation now. We don't need that many people. It's all a couple of engineers and so forth. So this is what we're looking at now. And my staff, we're working very hard. But when you talk about that Keith mentioned, and it's true because we run into those issues that you have so much electricity. You want to bring one of those manufacturing companies down, or water supply. One of the things that I found out over Monterrey with the nearshoring that's coming, Monterrey's going to have an issue, and the government's kind of committed millions and millions of dollars to provide the water, provide the electricity, because that's the only way Telsa and other Chinese companies are going to come to Nuevo Leon. So it's the same thing here. We're going to be facing that, and so if we can get everybody's cooperation and everybody understands what is the need here, so we can attract and bring those companies down here, I think it's going to be very doable. But we got to work hard. We got to work together. So again, thank you for the question.
And thank you for your staff. I know your staff does request, a lot of my staff have gone with them to DRE visits, and it's important to keep that line of communication open. And we have been doing that with your staff, so thank you for that. Same question, Mr. Teckel?
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Dr. Solis. Rose, thank you for putting this thing together. A couple of kudos and recognitions very quickly, Carlos. I'd like to, again, recognize the judge for spearheading the effort and bringing to light the levels of poverty and what we can do about that. We've been meeting for some time now about it. It's a really good effort. I also want to thank Rodney and other folks here for Dr. Petrosian, thank you. And I also want to let Commissioner Alvarez know that this is not an Aggie jacket. This is a Texas State University jacket, right, Veronica? Yes. Linda? So just be aware that that's I'm not going to make that sound that Aggie. But just to give an example of kind of jobs that we're dealing with, I'll give you an example of a handful of companies we've worked with in the last, say, year. Social media marketing firm that we moved into our C building in Mission. 12 employees. They need highly skilled. They need a highly skilled workforce. So they have filmmakers, they have film editors, they have social media mavens. So this is the kind of workforce that they need. And they're using UTRGV as their resource. And they've hired folks from Mission who go to UTRGV. which is great. Not all the folks are commissioned, but that's one example. We have another company that prints labels, and so they have 4 mini printing presses in their warehouse, but they also need designers to design these labels and edit them, and then print them, and then ship them. And that's another group. We have another group that does steel manufacturing, right? So what kind of skills would they need? We have another group that is doing a giant customer service center or call center. So now the supervisors and trainers are being trained in our building. And it's not kind of like the call center of old. You know, you have to have a really good handle on technology in order to handle this. This is not a selling operation, it's a customer service operation, right? So you have that. And then we have another group that is on the cusp of beginning a tiny home construction line. So they're using shipping crates to build micro apartments. So the shipping crate becomes 2 apartments. So now they need construction folks. They need to have people that can build into the inside and wire and insulate these containers and then ship them out. And just to give you an idea, the sort of diversity of skills that are being called upon in our little corner of the world. And just to kind of hold hands with everybody else in the kumbaya, yes, some of these opportunities were provided to us by McAllen, or a lead was given to us by Starr, or the bridge folks, or somebody like that. So we're all working together, oftentimes behind the scenes, and you don't see it. But there is a real demand on a variety of skills. It's just not one thing. And lastly, and Keith and Victor, everybody knows this up and down this line, is CDL drivers, right? CDL drivers are huge, and we have to get the right folks there. It's a tough job. It's very demanding on families and on people. The hours have to keep, and so that just keep in mind as we do when we're opening up the Ansaluas with our partners in McAllen, that's coming. And so those are some problems that we're dealing with.
Thank you, Deco. And just a couple of days ago, I met with Deco. He asked me to join him with an employer who needs 19 construction workers, like yesterday. And we do have a construction technician program that would fit right in. Unfortunately, we had just finished a cohort, but we're looking at getting some new groups of students in. But I do want to say that collectively, the group of professionals here, they're really good. They're really assertive when it comes to their needs, because that's the way business works, and that's what we've been introduced to. When I started here 20 years ago. We have to be responsive to the industry's needs, and they represent industry. And that's why sometimes they could be a tough crowd. They can be prickly. Keith and I have had some conversations that were a little rough around the edges, but that's what it's about. If business and industry won't wait. You stop, you pause, you lose an opportunity. And that's the way we operate, and that's the way, and I guess that's why they asked me to moderate for this tough group. But somebody doesn't want to do it, right, Dr. Patricia? But anyway, no, I say that in all honesty, that because we have to operate like a business, and that's the way we do it at the college. We have to be swift, flexible, nimble. But let me continue. Raul, emerging technology, anything that you have, emerging industries, partnerships, anything in that regard?
Good morning, or good afternoon now. It's kind of hard to be the last one on the line because everybody's already said a lot of the same things that we all deal with. We all deal with the same companies that are looking at South Texas for a lot of different reasons. But what we've seen is, in terms of emerging industries, is healthcare is one of those things that is continuing to grow. Not just in the service industry, but also in the manufacturing side. We have opportunities to tap into medical device manufacturing, for example. So we've got the School of Podiatry that's going to be coming into UTRGV. We've got the diabetes facilities in Brownsville that are generating some new technologies. We have to start learning to take advantage of those things and making some advances and bringing those kind of companies that are producing those products for those kind of patients. So that's some of the things that we're going to be going after in the future. But right now, other than what's already been mentioned, CDL truck drivers, we have a school that's expanding in our industrial parks that's specifically for truck drivers to get their CDL licenses. We continue to see back office operations. We're continuing to see the healthcare industry, as far as Driscoll they have some challenges because there's gonna be 600 employees there in that new, facility, and they have a need for more nursing, more, allied, health positions. So, I know STC and a couple of other providers are doing what they can to make sure that those needs are filled, but those are gonna continue to grow. We know that there's other health facilities that are looking at South Texas in the valley and are gonna continue to come into this area because as our population grows, so does our healthcare needs. So those are some of the emerging technologies that I see. Partnerships, obviously STC, we have one of our employers that needed some help, also in the construction related industry. So your staff has been great in trying to help them and training up some new employees, and they're servicing the entire South Texas from San Antonio all the way down. And so we need more of those kind of programs and more of those kind of partnerships. And obviously we've been dealing with these guys on this panel for a long, long time. And we do partner together.
That's awesome.
Carlos, can I add something really quick? Just kind of forgot to mention, I think people are sort of aware of this, but Hidalgo County the last several years has added about 10,000 jobs per year, right? And our biggest employment sector in Hidalgo County is government, right? Manufacturing, Keith will tell you, is a sliver of the jobs in this county. And in fact, we've lost over the last several years hundreds of manufacturing jobs. We've seen a recent gain, but that is what we chase. That is the primary jobs. I know Dale's talked about this at conferences. Those primary jobs are what we're seeking. It doesn't always have to be just manufacturing. Medical's great, and government jobs, especially in the federal side, are really high paying. But that's who we are. Our friends at the Texas Workforce Commission put out the numbers every month, and that tells us who we are.
Good, Techno, just real quick, I know you mentioned something about holding hands earlier. I really do want y'all to hold hands before you go and do a picture of that. That would be a great picture.
Do we have to hold them up? Or whatever is happening down here?
As long as it's visible. But I do, yeah, okay, it's just, again, talks a lot about our partnerships and the trust that we all have with each other, so